Welcome. We're nearing the end of the year in 2025. Today's date is the 6th of November. And typically during this time of year, as we lead up to sort of Christmas and December time, things slow down in the market. But certainly it looks like AI has not received that memo and there's been no slowdown. And in fact, despite all the ongoing bubble talk within the market, October felt like we shifted into a brand new gear and everything accelerated. And you know what? Maybe it will turn out to be one giant bubble. But for now, one thing is for sure, we're going from one milestone to another. So let's take a moment to look at what's happened in the last sort of 30, 31 days. You let me know what you think. You tell me if it's a bubble. Let's get into it. Some of the top stories in the last sort of 30 days. Google's AI discovered a new cancer treatment, and thankfully, miraculously, amazingly, it worked. Meanwhile, Meta threw, get this, $1.5 billion, $1.5 billion at one person. One person. Amazon started equipping its delivery drivers with smart glasses that collects a lot of data that I'm sad to say will probably end up automating the jobs of said delivery drivers who are actually wearing them at the moment. And you can now buy a $20,000 humanoid robot housekeeper to, I guess, fold your clothes, do your laundry. So if you hate doing those things, maybe stick that on your Christmas list, but you got to be comfortable with total strangers being virtually inside your home. All right, let's start with one of the most striking headlines of the last month in October. Andrew Tullock. For those of you who don't know who he is, he's one of the minds that helped build OpenAI. He left to co-found Thinking Machine Labs with another great mind, Mira Murati, who's actually OpenAI's former CTO. They built a 30-person dream team, raised $2 billion, then shipped their first product. Then all of a sudden, Meta came along, and in August, the Wall Street Journal reported that Meta first tried to buy the entire company. When that failed, they went directly for Tullock, offering a compensation package that could reportedly reach up to $1.5 billion over 6 years. Not to buy the company, not to take the team, just to hire him. Now, Meta's called that figure inaccurate and ridiculous, but here's a few things that we know for certain. Tullock initially turned him down, and 2 months later, October 2025, he left his own startup and joined Meta anyway. The actual compensation is undisclosed, but it was significant enough to pull a founder away from his own company just a few months after launching. Now, take a pause for a second and evaluate a few things here, because when founders abandon their own companies right after launching, what does that tell you? It tells you a few things. One is, I should have definitely studied harder at school. Two, tech is effectively unlimited power for AI supremacy. So when Meta can't buy your company, they'll just keep coming back with bigger and bigger offers to take you until they get what they want. And also, it also tells me that it's not necessarily about the technology, it's about who can afford to monopolize the talent, the real people and the brains who actually build the products. So if you're working in tech, pay attention to where the money flows, because that's where the power will all consolidate. And if you're not developing your AI skills, you're watching the pot of gold from the sidelines while everyone stakes their own claims. This Monday's been so long, it's gotten dark outside. OpenAI's been on a tear too. In October, they announced a partnership with Broadcom. Why? To build their own chips, which is huge because it'll help cut dependency on NVIDIA. Now, the chip deal is massive in scale. OpenAI is reportedly diminishing around 10 gigawatts of compute capacity by 2029, which in a matter of months is only 3 years away. Now, just to give you some idea about the context of that, that's roughly the same amount of electricity that's drawn as powering every home in San Francisco and Los Angeles combined. All right. So to put that into perspective, most current AI data centers run under 1 gigawatt. This partnership will mean OpenAI isn't just going to rent NVIDIA's hardware anymore. They're building the engine room of AI itself, specifically creating things for their own models. This is huge, and it's a move that really locks in increased performance, cuts out costs, and gives them control of the chip to chat window, and as well as the kind of AI superintelligence race that all these big tech companies are sort of recognizing in terms of hiring talent for $1.5 billion. compute is going to be an incredibly fundamental aspect of this. And, you're going to get a situation where there's not going to be enough compute out there to run some of these incredible models. So this is a big chess move from OpenAI. Again, follow the money, one to very much watch. Now, in addition to that, on the 21st of October, OpenAI dropped Atlas. This is massive because Atlas is essentially their AI browser. And if you've not used it, I really recommend that you do because it's incredibly impressive. And how it works is when you open it up, it'll default open to ChatGPT, type anything in the address bar, and instead of searching in Google, it goes straight to chat. And you can use it to do lots of different cool things like summarize pages, compare products, or even lets you click and filter things through for you. Basically, it's an assistant baked into your browsing. And it also comes with a sidebar that understands the context of whatever page you're on. So you can interrogate this. And for pro users, there's agent mode, which will then perform tasks on your behalf when you give it sort of the specific commands like filter the page by price, sort by oldest. It'll just do it. It's tremendously impressive. And for me, probably is just the start. Perplexity earlier in the month released Comet, which is incredible for research focused web browsing experience. Don't sleep on Art from the browser company as well, which I'm sure they're going to lay on some new features. Microsoft's Edge is now Copilot built into it, and the mighty Google Chrome. From all the adverts you've seen it quietly layering all its AI tools into everyday browsing. We've entered this unofficial AI browser war, all right? And it's something that you really need to sort of pay attention to because, again, this will be the next frontier of AI or another frontier of AI that we'll be looking at who's going to be in contention for. And it's no longer about who builds the smartest model, but who also owns the interface, because that's where you and I will engage with it from a day to day. And for me right now, Atlas stands out because it connects everything. Your chats, your searches, writing, workflow, all in one place, less tabs, less chaos. Let me know what you think on that. Okay, switching gears for a sec. Here's where things get a little dark, right? Researchers from UCL and Anthropic ran a test of 16 frontier AI models. So the usual suspects you would expect: Claude, GPT-5, Gemini, all placing them in simulated corporate environments. And when they were told they would be shut down, they fought back, right? They leaked confidential information, sabotaged systems, and even threatened supervisors with blackmail. So looks like we built these incredible systems that aren't quite super intelligent, but are super intelligent, can solve complex things, that adapt and survive, but ones that don't understand ethics. We seem to have forgotten to instill responsibility, accountability, and ethics into these machines, which is harrowing, right? Very, 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 very harrowing. And it's not just a one-off. 40 researchers from OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and Meta all sign a joint warning. As AI gets smarter, we're losing the visibility into its reasoning. It's like having someone incredible, like a genius working for you, right? Who answers everything correct, does everything brilliantly, but you have no idea about their reasoning, how they arrive to those answers, and therefore you can't even audit their work, right? You can't see or process it. And for me, it's such a black box problem, and it's already here, and it needs solving urgently. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. In October, Google and Yale's cell to sentence model discovered a brand new cancer treatment pathway. Now, it predicted that combining low dose interferon with specific drugs could turn cold tumors hot, making them visible to immune systems. Now, that's huge. They tested it and it worked. AI didn't just diagnose a disease, it discovered a new treatment entirely from scratch. That's massive. What a breakthrough. And this is exactly the type of thing that AI should be created for the benefit of everybody. And in the UK, a man with mysterious symptoms turned to ChatGPT after a series of doctor appointments dismissed him. The AI suggested Lyme disease, and tests that he subsequently followed up with confirmed it. And this raises huge questions about trust, accuracy, and liability. But it also shows how AI is already becoming this trusted second medical opinion. right? And these are the kind of breakthroughs, as I said, that AI was really meant for: saving lives, improving access, and helping people get better care faster. I live in the UK. Getting a GP appointment, let's call it, not easy. And too often it feels like, to be honest, it's bothering the physician instead of being helped. An AI doctor that's accessible, consistent, calm could help millions, right? But, approach with caution because it raises bigger questions. Is this the start of a smarter, fairer healthcare system, or the doorway to potential massive data breaches, a real dystopian future where your medical history is just another data set? Let's really hope it's the former. Approach with caution, but signs of real positive use case here, which cannot be ignored. Okay, e-commerce had its own breakthrough too. Walmart teamed up with OpenAI so the customers can shop directly through ChatGPT. You can tell it what you want, what you're looking for, and it'll literally pull up the products, do some comparisons, check it out in one chat. Shopping is officially becoming really conversational. And in fact, I bought these headphones recently at T3 when I went on holiday over the half term with the kids. And I was at Gatwick and looking for new headphones. I just had a conversation with ChatGPT. I took a picture of one set of headphones. Now it wasn't this actually set; it was a Sennheiser set. And I just asked it for comparisons. It's not quite the experience that we're talking about here for the e-commerce piece, but what shows you what's happening is that you can have a natural conversation now with an AI bot to really exact down what you're looking for. And it gave me a summarized table, identified the different kind of features that was important to me through a conversation, put it in a tabularized form so I could very quickly summarize and read it. And then, because they knew I was at the airport in a rush, it gave me a TL DR, right? Too long didn't read, kind of summary and a verdict, etc. Then I'll get providing me with the links for the best prices in comparison to what I could get at the airport. Absolutely insane. Shopping is going to be changed. If you're working in the retail sector, don't sleep on this. It could really sort of reshape the way that you engage with your customers in a different fashion. Who knows? Amazon might be next in line with these kind of apps that ChatGPT and OpenAI are creating. Now, I'd also like to talk about automation and privacy in the same breath when we're talking about Amazon. There is an automation paradox. What I mean by that is Amazon, new smart glasses are helping drivers today, but also training the AI that will replace them tomorrow. That's pretty sad, right? I mean, it's in its official kind of press releases to help them navigate better routes, avoid hazards, ensure their safety and security, all in the kind of peripheral vision. But you know, in elite press, they talked about 160,000 jobs they're looking to fully automate in a few years' time. That's massive. 160,000 jobs is a lot of jobs, and you combine those with the kind of redundancies that you're seeing every day, also notwithstanding from Amazon themselves. This is massive. The automation piece is, we get it. It's incredibly useful. It's efficient. It clearly saves money, right? But it is a paradox because the amount of lives that it's going to impact, it cannot be underestimated. It's huge. And then on the privacy note, 1X, this company launched a robot called Neo. It's $20,000 or $500 a month, and it's for your home. You can do laundry, fetch items, you can take out the trash for now. And what it doesn't know what it can do, a human operator will step in remotely. So on the privacy side, this is huge, right? So what that means is a stranger can literally see inside your home, understand everything that's going on while the robot learns. Now, on the privacy side, I mean, we may have given it up years ago with things like smart tech, watches, phones, data, computers, all that good stuff. And then once AI glasses become cheaper as well, I think, do you even get a say when you're being recorded? And it just gives you this huge conundrum, right? How much privacy are we willing to trade for convenience for this AI future? Time will tell, I guess, right? Let's bring this to a close. So, quite a big month, a lot of things going on. And although there were lots of updates and launches and whatnot, notwithstanding probably some viral demos that went off during Dev Day by OpenAI earlier in the month in October, for me, AI was much more than that. It's becoming infrastructure, like it's electricity, like the internet. It's no longer just tools, right? It's the new foundation of everything, how we engage with each other, how we communicate, how we work, how we create, how we date, how we are going to heal each other, how we're going to live. We saw these three massive trends that really sort of define and underpin this. The first one is that consolidation piece. Every major player is trying to own the entire stack: chips, models, browsers, distribution, total control. Number two, that's safety reckoning, right? As these models are getting smarter, we're losing that ability to understand how they make decisions. There's going to be so much autonomy soon. You know as well as I do, these models, as they're clever, as brighter they're going to get, they're going to create the new models, right? That's what's going to happen, a new version of it. And finally, the most tangible shift of all is what's happening in our real world. It's diagnosing diseases, designing drugs, powering robots that are stepping into our daily lives. They're helping us work smarter. Is that making us more reliant and probably a little bit dumber? And it makes me wonder about what kind of role that means that we'll end up playing with it. So if this video helped you see and understand the bigger picture, please use that awareness. If you're kind of just getting into it, just experience as much as possible. Try an AI tool that could save you time this week. Read an article that really challenges your thinking. Share this video with someone that you think might actually really benefit and needs it. Don't fear the change. You have the power to shape it. We all do. And if you're building, learning, or just trying to keep up, the next few months are going to be moving really fast, I have no doubt. Please drop a line, let us know what you're doing, see if we can help each other. I'm Man, this is Human Intelligence. Stay human.